Hello and welcome to the very first edition of the Resolution Podcast. My name is Wayne Moggins and I will be your host for the podcast. Before we get rolling, I just want to give you a little quick background for our listeners about what this is. Resolution is a new initiative started by the Joy of Giving Something Incorporated, also known as JGS. And JGS is a not-for-profit organization that supports the arts, the photographic arts in particular, and arts education. And so Resolution has been started as a national program to inspire and empower young people to use art and media as a tool for activism and social change. Today, our guest is Michelle Blue. Michelle is the founder of Follow Your Dreams in Baltimore, Maryland, and I am extremely pleased and honored to have Michelle with us as our very first guest on the show. Michelle, welcome.
Thank you for having me here.
You're very welcome. So tell us a little bit about Follow Your Dreams. What is it? How did you get it started?
Wow. Well, Follow Your Dreams started in 2001, very organic. I'd moved back to my neighborhood that I'd grown up in Baltimore City from California, and simply started to, look at the neighborhood, and it seemed to be in a decline. So I started sweeping the streets, and basically the kids joined me. And
Wow.
There I learned that there was a lack of activities, a lack of something for them to do, and me and the kids started beautifying the neighborhood, and thus started Follow Your Dreams. Basically, I started the first programming in my home, and the first feature program was the camp-style program, Youth Awareness Month, and it's been a story since then. It's been a long bunch of things that we've done, and
yeah. So Follow Your Dreams. Now you've set up a sound recording studio. Is that right? You do recording.
We advanced to the point of that came further along because again the camp style programs began first, and we served kids age 7 to 18, which is usually it's pretty unique for it's a neighborhood based program. In 2004, because in 2001 when we initially got started, we didn't have a outdoor. We had an outdoor space that was sort of loaned to us, and that's where we began our camp. I was doing a little programming out of my living room, but in 2004 we got a building right on the street where we were doing all the work, the beautifying, the sweeping up. Something as simple as a neighborhood resident bringing out a boom box and provided some activities, and then organized trips like skating trips and museums and beach trips, and all of these things became very organized, and it just turned into the real deal. So the studio came further along. It began to help kids write grants, be an ally in the process, and to Youth as Resources, they wrote a grant. Michael and Warren, at the time, they were just both of 14 and 15 years old. But Warren had gotten up in a community meeting set up by the Waverly residents, which is the bordering community. And Warren said, I'd like to see a program where young people can learn how to cut demos. They were trying to find out, to bridge the gap between young and old. What do we do? How do we keep these kids out of trouble? And I simply asked the young man, was he serious? I'd been working with Michael already and put these two young people together, introduced them to some producer friends, and took them to the library. They did research, and the first grant was approved for $3,217, and that's funded a small recording studio that has been in existence ever since, and it's really a very attractive. It's been a highly attractive component for young males.
Yeah.
We've got an outpouring of young males that just you just won't stay away. And today, we still have the studio. And along with that, in 2005, I said, hey, every kid isn't going to be able to be a successful singer or rapper. And I created Hip Hop Business 101 because mainly they were interested in hip hop. So, and what that meant was, they would learn additional skills. How does the music industry operate? What does it mean to get your music copywritten? And I simply said, hey, you want to get free studio time? You sign up for my classes. You can come in. You can take them for free. But you have to, in order to get free studio time, you have to take my classes. and that was just a wonderful, blossom. It started something that just was very innovative, and at the time, and it kept kids the power of their voice. That was the most important aspect. We would write scripts to video. We would shoot video, everything in a very organized fashion. But more importantly, we would explore hip hop. Explore hip hop simply because young people from the streets who are angry and typically don't have a lot of things to do, they come in and they want to use derogatory language, and it's a real process in order to engage them and to have them understand that you don't have to use this negative language. So that in itself is a process through writing, through what they call ciphers of, continuously, what they would do is battle one another and just trying to do it in a constructive way. And it takes some time, but, the results sometimes a year later, although these classes were set up to be 12 weeks, but quite honestly, Wayne, I could never get rid of these kids.
Did you find that sometimes young people would come in and they would be interested in being an artist, but then they would suddenly get interested in the production end or in becoming a producer or something like that?
That is exactly when I designed these classes, I wanted to see mentors. I know what I went to college for, and I was a communications major, and I was interested in video and film. And that's exactly sort of, basically what I put back into the program, sort of what I learned. And that's exactly what happened. These young people became interested in production. And these guys that came up, that lined up for my first classes, and Bryant, which is a very, very interesting story because he is the co-director of Follow Your Dreams today. And but they came in, and they all knew that they love rap.
Right.
But many of them have their own studios. They're doing some wonderful work that I'm so proud of. They're activists as a result. Giving them voice and seeing the power of themselves is transforming their lives. So today we have them graduating from college. We have them majoring in engineering and production, and many of them have gone on to have their own studios and to mentor other young people. As I said, Bryant Muldrew is an example of that. He was one of the first kids in my first class that signed up, about 15 years old. Came in there, they all had these skull caps on, and just really hip hop, but just young kids wanting to learn and very, very eager, and like I said, they would never leave. But that young man is today running his own mentoring program using hip hop, but it's more about ethics. And one of the things we do, for example, is ethics in music. What does that mean? You need to be able to convey the message in a way that that is not offensive. Of course, we have freedom of speech, but as young people, teaching them that the power of their voice is important and you don't have to be negative, you don't have to curse, is a very powerful experience. And he speaks to this all the time. So ethics in music is one of the basics, one of the things that that we did, and something that he uses today with his in his very own program that he's running.
Wow. So Follow Your Dreams is going into its 11th year? 11th
year, and I have to say I really don't know how we've struggled in the last three years. We really have not been funded by any foundations or large organizations. We've pretty much been kind of running this thing independently, doing it on our own, and that's a story in itself. Just the fact that we're sort of financially broke but morally rich, because we continue to reach out to these young people who ordinarily in this community, this community is poverty-stricken. It's deteriorated from pervasive drug use, and really have been trying to recover from that from the last 2 decades, being hit hard in the community. So this community is trying to sort of rebuild. I mean, it's a fabric, it's family, but these young people have a lot of needs. They're called, and I don't like to use these things that are categorized as at risk and these terms, but they're simply young people to me. But they're young people who have a lot of aggressive behaviors and negative feelings, and at Follow Your Dreams, we've been able to transform that, and I think that speaks to why we're still open today.
Right. Let's go back a little bit, Michelle, because I'm really interested in your personal story. I mean, you've done so many things and accomplished so much in your life, and you're still so young. And I mean, you've worked in broadcast and recording. You've been a high school teacher. You've worked in the corporate world. You've been an activist, and now you're working in not-for-profit arena. Would you tell us a little bit about your journey? Where were you born? Where did you grow up?
Oh, I grew up right on the street where Follow Your Dreams was born. I grew up, in addition to that, I used to live in the house, the row house that is Follow Your Dreams today. So my family's been there for a very long time, and I simply, no matter where I've traveled in the world, today I live in Georgia, I've always kind of came back to this place that represented so much. I was the first to graduate in my college in my family, and
right.
I just used these tools that I feel like that I'd gotten from that neighborhood of real community, just
right.
real community had been with me, and I continue that today. That community is important. It's the fabric of our lives, but many of the kids are lacking that because the parent, whether the latchkey kids and parents having to work, excessive jobs, or maybe they don't have jobs and they're just on drugs or don't have jobs, and it creates so many problems for the young person. As I stated in my videos, that it was problematic for me to grow up, meaning that I thought it was kind of troubling. There was, problems in the area, but these kids, in my opinion, have it like way rougher. So that's why I feel compelled. It's just who I am. It's my family. It's the things that's driven me to just explore, but always want to help and engage young people.
Mm-hmm. That strong sense of mission is really very clear in everything that you do. I mean, you just said now that you felt that some young people today have it way rougher than you did. Why is that?
The incline and deterioration of communities. There's not
gotten
really
worse since you were growing up there?
Oh, absolutely. There wasn't drug. You didn't see drug needles or drug users so much in the community as you do today. Crack hadn't hit the community. So that's quite frankly one of the worst things that could have happened to the community, that drugs, come into it, and because it tears a family apart. It truly, is the breakdown of the African American household, in my opinion. And today it's not a black issue. It's not an African American issue. It's an issue of people of poverty that is hit by. So the kids do have it much rougher. And I start with the simple basics in the program. Although we do all these innovative and fun things, sometimes it starts with something as simple as providing lunch. Providing these kids with basic meals that they would not ordinarily get. You have to meet people where they are, and if a kid is hungry, and these kind of things have wound up in recommendation letters where I'll stop what I'm doing, whether it be a meeting, to feed the kid, to give them counsel, because I just feel called. I feel called and led to do that. I don't believe that I should take it and wear it all on my shoulders. In order to be an effective leader, you need to learn to delegate, and that's what is the important premise of Follow Your Dreams, is to be able to plant a seed in these young people that I'm mentoring. I've mentored many kids. Wow, it's become hundreds now, and I always get these calls back from go as far as back from teaching, from kids just saying, Ms. Blue, had it not been for your, just reaching out and telling us to keep going, I may not be where I am today. And that's pretty fulfilling. That's pretty fulfilling.
Yeah, absolutely. I watched a little bit of the video work that I saw that you had up on YouTube, the Faces of the Homeless Project. Can you talk a little bit about that? Is that an ongoing project, or? Well,
it's not an ongoing project. It's something that I would love to continue to do, because, again, I feel called. I'm so glad you asked that question. It's important to me. Through my church, St. John's United Methodist in Baltimore City, there's a small shelter that I've been working at for probably the past 3 years called Heart's Place, a very small shelter. And I simply, it's always, sort of given to me, She's great with young people, and it just naturally happens. It just naturally happens. They're attracted to me for the musical instinct, for fashion and all of these things, so we connect. And this project began. This is how the project organically began, and me just with these flip cameras, sort of putting in people's hands and the homeless population there to get their stories. And it's something that just simply happened. We didn't say, hey, we're going to record and tell these stories, but it's something that just happened.
And it wasn't at all exploitative. I mean, it's not like you were, showing in any sort of derogatory sense, that like, there was something very positive about it, because it felt like the people who were engaged with the process of being videotaped were also somewhat empowered by it.
They were absolutely empowered. They were telling their stories, and they began to go out and interview others. And the knowledge that they were sharing, the stories, were mind blowing, because this is a population of young people that is growing all over the country. There are a lot of homeless youth, and it's something that speaks to me, because I feel like this is where Follow Your Dreams is going. Oh boy, I love when you ask these questions that I feel like I can just answer.
Good.
This is the direction of Follow Your Dreams. We've always worked with young people. Specifically, you have this mission statement. We work with 7, 18. Well, we've always worked with kids. I've never turned any kid away, and no matter how old you are, if you wanted to work with me, then I simply did. With the homeless population of young people, I feel like that they're a part of the outcast. I also work with previously incarcerated youth. These are the kids that are outcast. They're the castaways, the throwaways in society, and not many people even take a moment out to hear their stories. So them being able to tell and share their stories was not only empowering, but it's enlightening. It's awareness for folks to know that these kids, they don't look homeless. They look like you and I. They're very young. They're very chic. They change clothes all the time. They ride buses all day. They walk, but there's a multitude of social ills that come as a result. Mental health issues. It just runs the gamut, and it really speaks to me. And these are the young people that I wanted to continue to reach. I want to do so here in Atlanta. It's very important to be able to work with those who ordinarily would not get their stories told. That's the power of a flip camera for these young people, and it's just grown. So the thing with Hearts Place is that it's in a winter emergency shelter, so it only stays open for 6 months. So the program is ongoing. We try to start from sort of beginning to end. Whether we'll be able to pick up, that all depends on a few things. Funding, a lot of things. I would like to flip themselves to know what we were doing and how empowering this project is to young people, and just to create awareness around that. So it was exciting to see people wake up, and that's what they were doing. And there were people that were talking that ordinarily never tell their stories, and then they thanked me, Wayne. Why would you? They thanked me for giving them an opportunity, and I thought, no, thank you for telling your story. So it's just pretty amazing. But again, it's work that I feel like Follow Your Dreams has been created to reach those and help those and give the voice to people who ordinarily would not have it. And these happen to be young people, whether they're previously incarcerated, LGBTQ, homeless, the throwaways in our society.
Yeah, there was another video that I watched that you had on YouTube called I Vent. It blew my mind. There was something so completely honest and direct and passionate. I don't see you as an angry person at all, but it was really interesting to see you express that side of you that was just fed up. Anger is always an interesting thing, because we're always told, oh, don't get angry, keep it contained, but it could be a very powerful source of energy, and that's what I saw in that video. You were using it. It was like this energy was available to you.
That was very different for me to do, and it was something that I needed to do. I recently did that. I shot it here in Georgia, in Helen, Georgia. It was something that I felt like I needed to do to let go. And there's anger that comes involved, because we have people who have visited our program and they said, wow, you are so innovative. You're doing amazing things. And I've heard this tons of times.
Yeah.
But when we sit down and we use all our resources and energy, when we aren't highly staffed to write grants that are sort of probably over our head, and then you waste all this time and you don't get it, it's pretty depressing. And we've been in in this position for 3 years, and you're trying to figure out, why. So we haven't been, out there in this competitive funding world trying to get that. We've been under the radar.
Right.
So my anger of being burned out and frustrated at at society, at, more specifically Baltimore City, for people coming in and saying, hey, you're doing great work. We love what you're doing. But that's where it stops.
Right.
That's where it stops. And so I had to speak out.
The streets are even tougher today. It's not a game. A lot of things sound cliche, but it's truly not a game out here, people. I'm sick and tired of all the...
But I struggled with that because I have taught my kids for over the last decade to be positive, to channel their energy, their negativity into positivity, and we work wonderfully. So me doing that video seemed quite contradictory, but I've gotten only because I've used it. There was times where I used language that that I didn't necessarily agree with, that I didn't condone. So that's the only thing. But I needed to move on, and I needed to vent. I needed to get that out. I'm not an artist, but I just needed to simply speak. And I actually learned a lot of that from the kids. I mean, I was working with the young people in the studio on their project, and and now I've become pretty well with recording and things like that.
Right.
Because ordinarily I was just standing up in front of these kids and saying, hey, just giving them studied lecture, and however it was not the same as being an artist, which had been suggested to me. Well, why don't you try to do what you're telling these young people? So, and it worked fine. I got a lot of good feedback, and I'm able to move on now. But again, we've been under the radar. We do have a small antiquated website, which is sort of where we want to go now. We want to update that, and we want to raise awareness to let folks know that we are here, and we're here for a reason. And these kids are graduating from college. They are Howard University, Alexa Morris. Chris Goodman has his own production company with his partner and is an activist. Bryant Muldrew, Chris Mosier. I could go on and on with these young people who I'm very proud to say that there's videos where they state, I got everything here. I learned it. So I'm very proud of that, very proud of it.
And for those who are listening and want to check this out, the website is followyourdreamsinc.org. Is that correct?
Yes, that's Follow Your Dreams with an S, INC.org. That is right.
Which sort of is a nice segue for me. I wanted to talk to you about what you're doing right now. What's coming up on your immediate horizon?
August 27th, we are doing the Big Boon, which is the street that Follow Your Dreams lives on, born on. The Big Boon Back to School Street Concert, which is August 27th from 3 to 9 p.m., 2600 block of Boone Street, where I was born and raised. And we're going to get out there some of the artists from Follow Your Dreams. AP, he's one of the young men that I spoke about. And AP's story is pretty special because AP was previously incarcerated. He came home and says, hey, I don't want to sell drugs anymore. I don't want to go back to prison. I've been working with this man for 2 years now, this young man for 2 years, and he refuses to go back to the streets, and I'm just very proud of that. So he's going to be our feature artist, the music that he's doing. I actually did his first mixtape and, recorded it, and he's on to his second one. This is what saved their lives. But the event will have special guests, food, fun, moon bounce, and we're hoping to be able to send our kids back with school supplies and just a message of hope, which is really needed in the inner city. Kids need a message of hope because, school isn't that fun for them. School isn't that engaging, and they need a message of hope to say, hey, stick in there, hang in there. Many kids today find school quite boring, and it's just not fun to them.
Yeah, I think it's a really brilliant idea to have a concert to celebrate going back to school. Everything's always like we concerts are for the summer. When we get out of school, then everything starts. And I think what you're doing is you're saying, hey, this is a great time, and to be able to sort of celebrate that and maybe support that and turn it into a positive experience is I think really brilliant. It's really really good. So so give us the date again. That is
August 27th. It's Saturday, August 27th. It's from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. The thing is that people aren't able to attend this street block party, but they can support. You can, whether it be by donating school supplies, by donating monetarily. Again, PayPal is on the website, and you can just support us because we really are trying to sustain and to continue. I like to get this my co-director a salary so he can stop going to his pocket and do what he needs to do. So support us in any way that you can. But most importantly, this is the first year that we weren't able to offer a summer camp, which really affected us. It affected my heart. We were unable to do that. We are still opening our doors about twice a week, but we are unable to, just have year-round programming as well as just open every day. And I said, I have to let these kids know that, that Follow Your Dreams supports them. They're important. So this day has just been set up ideally for them, been set up to celebrate them and to send them back with the message of hope as well as school supplies, because it's very rough on, a lot of the parents in the inner city. And, when you have 4 and 5 kids or, 2 and 3, it's just pretty tough. So we want to do our part as a community organization, and it's just somebody that's as an organization that's rooted in the community, that are really about our young people, that we can do something to celebrate them. And Saturday, August 27th is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be out there having fun. It'll be a dance party. There will be, a lot of Mary Pat Clark, councilwoman, and folks like that who supported us, will come through, and it's just going to be an amazing day. So we're just hoping for great weather. But again, if you aren't able to physically be there, then find a way to support us, because your help could not be appreciated more by a small organization like this, on a street that's very organic, and we refuse to move out of the neighborhood, because we need to be in a neighborhood. There needs to be more programs like that replicated. It's a row house. The kids live next door to it. And that's it. Saturday, August 27th, the Big Boom Back to School Street concert, presented by Follow Your Dreams, and alongside with a lot of supporters.
And you can go right to Follow Your Dreams website, and you have a PayPal account there. You can make a contribution directly through the website. Is that true? That's
correct.
So so everybody should get on that. No amount is too small. And then what's up next for you after that, Michelle? What are you what's happening in Atlanta?
Well, the plan and the vision was to create Follow Your Dreams 2. This is where we really focused on. We've been perfecting, and we've been recording, and we've been studying, and we've been learning the music business, and now it's all about the performance. It's all about the outputs, and so we're talking to the Atlanta All-Stars and trying to connect with maybe an organization, organizations here to partner, because today you really have to have a collaborative effort. It's a lot of nonprofits are struggling, and we really want to stay alive, but we realize, first and foremost, we have to sustain our firstborn, which is Follow Your Dreams in Baltimore, before we're able to expand. But we know that the long term that we will expand. And here in Atlanta, it has just as many kids that are in need. There's so many kids that are emphasis that want to perform, but there are not enough alternate outlets. There are not enough places where they can do this, and especially at a reduced rate or free, something that's offered to them. It's just not everywhere. And this is a place that is filled with just the music scene is booming. Yeah. But how many people are, how many organizations out there are really giving back, or organizations centered around, performance and activity? And that's what we want to do, the focus on the performance and the social activism, which is important, because we're not just, having fun and singing and dancing, but we're using our voice to promote messages that we think need to be out there.
Fantastic. Always thinking ahead. Well, thank you, Michelle, and good luck with all of your future projects. And thank you all anybody who's listening to this podcast. Please check back here again soon for the next installment of the Resolution Podcast. We will always be talking about art, education, and social justice.